Hello, everyone. Welcome to another RHLSTP this week with the awesome Konnie Huq, who is a lot of fun. Look, we're going through difficult times here, as we all are, and we want to keep you entertained. So we've set up a live streaming channel at twitch.tv/rkherring. There's stone clearing at 8 a.m. There's snooker at 7:30 p.m. We're going to do some live interviews for RHLSTP, and maybe lots of more stuff. I might play Civ 2 and you can watch. I might play Scrabble and you can watch. We might try and put some sketches together. It's all free. You can subscribe if you want to pay some money. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you can give us free money every single month by just linking your Twitch and Amazon Prime accounts. We're going to put a video of this explaining it up. You should be able to see. Then you just remember to return every month and resubscribe, and you can give us $5 a month for nothing from Ian Amazon's big bank vault full of money. He's a fool. He's giving this money out for free. I don't know what he's doing, but I'm happy to take some of it and turn it into more content for you. It's a win-win-win situation. Do keep listening to the podcast. That's a great way to help us as well. And also, if you're concerned as I am about the live comedy circuit scene with clubs and comedians, please help stand-up comedians get through this difficult time. They literally have no other income, many of them. They've relied on just the gigs they do every week in clubs. There are no clubs on at the moment. Many of them will do stuff online. But I don't know how much money they'll be able to raise through that. So to help the people who are struggling, we set up a Just Giving account. If you look for Just Giving and Heckle the Virus, you'll be able to give. Maybe just go every month while this is going on and donate the cost of one gig ticket. And that will be redistributed by the people at Next Up Comedy. Thanks so much to them for organising this. And help people through this difficult period. Do help the people in your own communities. If you don't think stand-up comedians are the priority, find someone who is the priority. Don't complain about it and then do nothing, is what I'm saying. Please feel free to donate money to any of the other self-employed people or people who are out of work because of this. Help everyone through. Look out for your neighbours. Do talk to your friends who are isolating alone. If you are isolating alone, make sure you're staying in contact with your friends and family, listening to these podcasts, and you can come and join us on Twitch TV and have a chat on there as well. Anyway, let's sit back, relax, enjoy the fabulous and surprisingly rude Konnie Huq. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Leicester Square Theatre. Please welcome a man who now equates illness with drunkenness. It's Richard Herring. I'm fine. I've had a week to recover. I'm fine. Oh, no, actually, they're going out in a different order. Never mind. Welcome. Yeah, none of this is going to make sense now. Think about it. Fuck it. Welcome to Richard Herring's Lee Stewart's Theatre podcast. I'm in dressing room 1. It's got Stuart Lee written on and a picture of Stuart Lee on it, all printed up nice. Could have taken that down for the day, couldn't they? They don't put that up when I'm in. They don't put Richard Herring a nice little photo of me sucking up to him. I was hanging around with Alan Measles the other day. You remember him from the RHLSTP that was ages ago. He calls it RHLSTP, so I don't know if that's gonna catch on. I've literally got nothing to talk to you about beforehand, so let's go. Let's see if there's anyone new in the front row. I'm not sure I've met this lady before. Have I met you before? You say fuck off to me? I dare you. That's very nice. I'm just coming to have a chat. What's your name? Ellen, you're wearing a kind of stripy top. That's a kind of very Richard Herring friendly stripy top. Sorry, I didn't wear my stripy top today. What do you do for a living, Ellen? A graphic designer. That's one step up from IT, isn't it? That's they actually have to draw it themselves, not just type something in. It's good. What was the best thing you've designed? You don't know. What are you most proud? What's your mum most proud of? Not much. Okay. Not going very well, is it, Ellen? You and me. It's not. What's the best pencil to use? 2B.
Okay, good. I could do a joke about it. I'm not gonna. I thought immediately. That's how my brain is so sharp. I immediately thought. Are you with Ellen?
Yes.
What's your name?
Dan.
Dan. That's nice. What do you do for a living, Dan?
I'm a journalist.
He's a journalist. Are you reviewing the show?
No, I'm not.
Oh. Waste my fucking time. What do you journal for? What? Freelance. What was the? Are you trying to tell me you've never had anything in the paper? Yeah. What was the last thing you had in? You're basically unemployed. What was the last thing you had in? What sort of stuff is it? Why are you being so cagey? Is it porn? Is it Hustler? No. You're not going to tell me what it is. Wow. It just makes me more interested. Just more interested in why you're so mysterious. He's a very buff kind of guy, and he works out a bit. He's a nice-looking guy, isn't he? I'm not saying you're punching above your weight, but he's a good-looking guy. Done very well, Alan. Right, we're going to crack straight on. I wouldn't mind. I don't care what you write about me. I don't care. There's no judgment. My guest this week is probably best known for her role as a schoolgirl in 2.4 Children. That is... Yeah, remember that show? Will you please welcome the amazing Konnie Huq, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. There's a microphone. You have to hold that up on your face and say hello.
I can do that. Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Very good. Do you remember being the schoolgirl in 2.4 Children? Uncredited?
I never made it in.
What?
On the cutting floor. I was just an extra.
Yeah,
I
but it
don't
doesn't
even
matter.
know how you even found that out.
I know everything about you.
I've forgotten that. I mean, that was like when I was actually a schoolgirl.
Yeah.
Funnily enough. Yeah.
That's all over that's on Wikipedia, it's on IMDb, it's everywhere.
I don't look at the internet
Yeah.
much. I'm the only one. I'm the only one in the whole world.
You don't want to look there, Connie, there's some awful things on there.
Yeah, I know. So I've heard.
Well, look, we've got history, you and me. We've got a beef to settle right here, right now.
Okay.
We were both in a show called The Other Boat Race, and you were on that.
Gosh,
You've forgotten me, haven't you, Connie? You've forgotten about me.
I've blocked that from my memory. You can understand why I've blocked that from my memory.
We had to do an Oxford-Cambridge boat race. Konnie Huq was the cox of the Cambridge. Jonathan Aitken was the cox of the Oxford boat. 6'3", by far the tallest person in our boat. Very heavy. Konnie Huq, probably quite a good choice of coxswain. And during the race, you steered into our boat.
I did.
And I hit one of your crew in the face with the oar. Yeah. Nearly killed her.
I'm amazed they managed to put anything out. We never even finished the race, really.
We did. We won. That's why you forgot that. So you wiped that from Oxford. Oxford won as is only right. We had to restart. Do you remember that? And we'd done something to our boat that stopped the water coming in. And I think the reason you lost was because loads of water because it was really...
We sunk,
It was really cold. It was really cold and wet and the big waves, and these waves were coming into your boat, and you had to have sand put into your boat because...
Gosh, you remember this so clearly.
Because it's the only time I've ever fucking won anything in my life.
Yeah. Well, at least you won one thing. I've never won anything in my life.
We got a cup saying winner and a medal saying winner, and you got a medal saying loser, which I thought was in a 2-horse race. I thought it was a bit rude. Could have said second.
Life. Oh, thanks for reminding me.
So anyway, I've forgiven you. Did you?
You've forgiven me for what? You won.
Crashing into us.
I lost.
You nearly killed me. I nearly killed a woman. I nearly killed a professional rower. That's the worst thing of it. We were really G'd up to hate you. It's taken me a long time. Not you personally, the whole boat of people. That our people really made us.
These Oxford people, they're so competitive.
They are, but
us Cambridge, we couldn't care less.
We had Toby Young and Jonathan Aitken in our boat, and I still preferred them to you. That's how. But I've got over it. The Cambridge boat was a group of much nicer people.
We were just normal. They were weirdos.
Yeah, we were weird.
As you can tell.
Dare you? So, Konnie Huq.
Yes.
You were on Blue Peter.
No way.
That's what my researchers told me. You're the longest-serving female presenter of Blue Peter in Blue Peter history.
Oh, thanks.
That makes it sound like a sort of prison sentence, but that's
I know, it
quite
does,
impressive.
doesn't it? I served my time.
What?
They couldn't get rid of me, basically, because it's like the dream job.
Yeah.
Literally. And actually, we had a new head of children's at one point. She was like, Connie's been there too long. So they decided to terminate my contract. But by the time my contract was up, she'd left. So I got a stay of execution. And then, like, literally, every time I thought I should leave, it was like, oh, well, if you stay for a few more episodes, it will be your 4,000th show, and then you can do 10 years, and then after that, so you can be the longest serving. There was always some sort of record or benchmark or something. So I just ended up staying forever.
Not competitive at all, are you?
No, that's the thing. I'm not, though, because other people would have come and gone and tried to, crack the world of, I don't know, grown-up telly or whatever. Yeah. But I'm really like, if it ain't broke, don't think, it's clinging on. I've just happily been there now, really. I don't like to change things up.
You could still be there. You still look exactly the same as you did. You do, but you do. You still look 12 years old. Which is a kind of compliment.
It's sort of, but I'm like 44 and it's a bit weird.
What do you think? What's your favourite memory of Blue Peter? What's the best thing you did on Blue Peter?
Just all the travel.
Yeah.
Before I was on Blue Peter, I'd literally not been anywhere. And then suddenly, especially because at one point it was on 5 times a week, because they were introducing this sort of digital channels. So we were on Monday, Wednesday and Friday on terrestrial. Then Tuesday and Thursday, we were on digital. So they had to just fill so much airtime that literally you'd be, I don't know, going off to Scunthorpe, then to a live studio, then flying to Italy or something, and then terrible for carbon footprint, but just brilliant for,
No one cared about that then.
No, give a shit. Give a shit, the planet, whatever. But the point is that, honestly, I'd led such a sheltered life till then. And literally, you don't just go to a place. You see behind the scenes of the place. You sort of meet the people. It was a dream job. Hence, I didn't leave for over a decade.
And what was the worst thing about doing it?
What was the worst thing about doing it? God, I literally can't think of a worse thing. Isn't that
That's amazing.
That's just gross, isn't it? That's horrible. People hate their jobs. And
you sort of left after there was there was a few controversies when you were there.
We named a cat with the wrong name. It was a massive controversy. Yeah. And
that bloke took all those cocaines as well. That was probably worse.
Not the best example for the children.
There was a controversy towards the end of about the competition. There was a competition that was there was a phone-in competition.
Don't you remember?
I don't remember it. I had to look it up, and I thought, God, that is pathetic.
Just in telly in general. Yeah. So RDF, the production company, made a documentary about the Queen, and they edited her storming out of a room, supposedly, but only they'd edited it all in the wrong order, and she'd been going into a room. And then suddenly, literally every TV programme had to trawl through all their emails and their back catalogue of whether, everything was genuine, was that caller on the line a real person, blah, 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 blah. And they found this competition in which we had to name a cat. And the top scoring name was actually Cookie.
Right.
And they called the cat Socks, because I think the editor preferred the name Socks.
Right.
And so then, all hell broke loose and he got sacked. and
you had to go on and apologise.
I did, because we'd let everyone down.
Yeah. Have you forgiven yourself for it?
I don't know. There still might be traumatised people out there that wanted that cat to be called Cookie and it got called Socks. Oh. Childhood is when we're shaping and forming, and things that get us then, they can affect us for life, as we know. So, as us grown-ups know. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So, are you... well, look, I've been reading... Let's talk about your book. You've been written a book called Cookie, funnily enough. And,
that is a total coincidence. It isn't me carrying that with me for life.
And the most annoying boy in the world.
Yeah.
It seems to me... the character's basically called Konnie Huq.
Well, no.
And went to school at the same place you did, and has the same number of sisters you did, and was on Brainbusters instead of Block, but you were on Blockbusters.
I know, and I didn't get any questions right. And she doesn't get any questions right. It's just, and literally she gets asked the same questions that I got asked. So it's like me laying that demon to rest. Obviously.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Maybe.
What I quite like.
I feel like I'm in therapy all of a sudden.
I mean, that's a bit of a spoiler, but that's what there's no 7-year-olds listen to this, and if they do, fuck off. Yeah. It's not for you.
You should be in
I'm
bed.
not apologising for anything. I took some cocaine and I liked it. It was okay. I advise you to do the same. Now, next week, they'll have to be, I'm very sorry to say.
Yeah. Not only have I let me down, but I've let you
That's what
down.
I liked about the book, was there's a few I mean, there's lots of things I like, but I really like the fact that it doesn't follow the kind of trajectory you're expecting. There's some rugs pulled away, and the main character
She's a
goes...
bit mental, that main character.
Yeah, I don't know where you got that from. And she gets all of her questions wrong. It's brilliant.
Well, you know what?
But
You've listened to the audiobook, and the actual humour is in all the comic strips. And I said, we shouldn't really do an audiobook because the funny bits are in all the pictures. So you've sort of...
It was very fun. It was a very fun book. I think my wife writes for the same sort of age group and the same sort of thing about rivalries between school kids, and it's really well observed in terms of all that making friends, falling out with people. And she's sort of not very self-aware of when she's being...
She's totally, unaware. Yeah. I mean, but, that age, I have to say, it's like, I don't know, as kids, we're all a blank canvas, aren't we? And then everything is what society puts on you, and half of it's bullshit and absurd. Yeah. And kids really realise that more than grown-ups. They're really refreshing.
Yeah.
And so kind of it's sort of showing that in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of science and stuff in there, sort of subtly interwoven in.
Yeah, there's a lot of knowledge woven in there, because everything... So our oldest turned 7, and then he got the Wimpy Kid books, and I sort of was like, okay, let's read a book tonight. And it's like, he's 7 years old. It's the first book. It's like, the fit girls in high school and this and then, because it's written 10 years ago, sort of pre-Me Too. And I thought, hey, wouldn't it be good to write a funny book where actually they're sort of learning something in a stealth fashion? So it's all really woke, but it's hidden. It's like stealth woke and stealth education.
Yeah. But
it's disguised as a funny romp. So I always say it's sort of like Bridget Jones meets Wimpy Kid.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. If that's
what we'd like to see. Talking about Me Too. Oh, bloody hell. And you can do accents. It's worth getting the audiobooks. You do a Liverpudlian accent. It's worth this.
Oh, yeah. A Scouser accent, like,
I think it's meant to be Liverpudlian.
From years of watching Brookside in my youth that I have perfected.
And you do a Bart Simpson impression in there?
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh yes, at the very in the beginning. You want me to do it now?
No, I don't really. Okay. No, if you don't feel.
Yo, homeboy.
No, you see, I can't do it often.
Oh, Lisa.
I need to get into it. Sometimes you
you can't just go straight into it. I can't just. Sometimes I can't go straight to my Scottish accent.
No, exactly.
To do like, and I mean, then it's just perfect though. Just sometimes a little tweak at the beginning. So. I mean, you did a lot of things when you were a schoolgirl in 2.4 Children. You were in the National Youth Music Theatre, and you appeared on Blue Peter when you were 14. Is that true?
Yeah, I was in
a play. You sang a solo
with Jude Law actually, and he was like 17. And
wow.
Yeah, no. So, what year was this? I'm trying to think of the year, but I can't do maths that quickly.
You were 14.
Yeah, I still can't do maths that quickly.
30 years. It's 30 years ago.
Oh yeah, that should be easy.
Yeah, I would say. I'd say it's 1989, but I get confused with that because that feels like that can't be 30 years ago, right? So let's say it's 1979.
I'm just in denial that I'm old now.
Yeah.
Like I had an invite to my 20-year school reunion, and I was like, no, this only happens in those films where they go back to the small town in America where they grew up. That can't be. This must be a mistake. And now I can't even say that was recently because that anecdote is old now. So it will be like my 25-year school reunion or whatever next. And I got the GP NHS survey thing, the patient questionnaire, and I realised that next year I move up a box. Yeah. And whereas I'm in like the 35 to 44 box, next year I'm like 45 to...
Enjoy it while you can.
Oh, yeah.
It goes by very fast.
Yeah.
Goes by very, very fast. So what got you into TV and presenting in the first place?
Do you know, actually, so there was an advert in Time Out magazine, and it was for Open. This is when there were only 4 channels on the telly, and they started doing Sky B and Sky, people got satellite dishes. And there was a channel called the Family Channel and a channel called the Children's Channel, but there was a gap in between. Because the Children's Channel ended like 5 o'clock and the Family Channel ended at 7. So they wanted to film these 2 hours with youth programming. And in Time Out magazine, they had open auditions for TV presenters. So me and my sister thought it'd be fun to go along for a laugh. You had to be 18 to 25. And I was 16 and still at school. So I wasn't sort of trying to get the job. I just thought it would be fun. And I was in a girls' school. I thought we'd meet boys and, all of that stuff. Anyway, and I went along. So because sometimes when you're not trying to get something, then it's easier. And I kept getting these callback auditions. And then I got this job and they thought I was unemployed and that I'd left school. And I told my head of sixth form, who was quite cool, John Sargent's wife, Mrs. Sargent.
Okay.
And she was like, that will look really good on your UCA form. and so she actually negotiated with the production company. And I'd done my maths A-level a year early because I was doing further maths. I was going to be an engineer. I was doing like maths, further maths, physics and chemistry. And so I had all these free periods. And they got me a pager. This is pre-mobile phones. And I'd have to go to the school payphone when they bleeped me. It didn't even have the messages. It was literally a red light went off. And then I'd go and interview, like, take that in East 17. And suddenly this square Asian girl was kind of cool and it was great. And I'm sure that's what got me into university because it did look quite good on my UCA form.
So maybe we'll meet Take That if we have her here. Maybe she'll bring them along. That's really. What did your friends at school think about you
I
doing?
sort of had this newfound cool all of a sudden. Yeah, it was a bit weird, really. But Take That weren't really big then. There was a period where they used to just go around like literally naked with the letters T, H, A, T, take and that.
Yeah.
I can't even spell. I just
That
spelled
looks
that,
good, there's
didn't I?
an H in
Instead of
there.
a take. But
That's why
anyway.
they didn't do so well to begin with.
But they were literally in smash hits every week and on every sort of kids show trying to break it. And anyway, I went and interviewed them. And then subsequently, they did well with like 1 Million Love Songs or something. And then we ran that interview when they became famous.
Right.
So, and East 17, I interviewed them loads. I went around their house and stuff. It was just whoever was knocking around, which was always East 17, it seemed to be. So.
I met East 17 when you presented Top of the Pops as well. I presented Top of the Pops in the mid 90s, and they were on doing that.
They did a lot of that, didn't they?
Brian Harvey was eating a family pack of Maltesers. I remember, on his own, yeah.
Okay.
On his own, he didn't share them. He didn't offer us one.
Didn't
He was
Tony
in the
Mortimer
canteen.
want one?
He was in the canteen. And then he went on to baked potatoes, didn't he? Next, and that was his downfall. Just like anything big and brown and round. So he's into. Thought I could eat those now. Gonna try and eat the moon next.
Moon's not brown.
Yeah, so...
I did work experience at TV Centre.
Did he?
Yeah, because I lived in Ealing. It was just sort of down the road. But the canteen was just... I remember, seeing Andrew... Do you remember Andrew O'Connor?
Yeah.
He used to present Turnabout
Yeah.
in lunchtimes after Watch with Mother or whatever. Anyway, sorry, that was my claim to fame about it, but I remember being really excited to see him.
He's gone on to be the executive producer of Peep Show and all that stuff.
Yeah, and
hasn't
hasn't he moved to America now and
probably.
he's in showbiz or whatever?
Yeah.
But anyway, and then I remember
what sweets was he eating?
He was eating just normal canteen food in the canteen. And I ended up sitting with him and having lunch. I was doing work experience on the Russ Abbott show.
Okay.
And they all went off on location. So I used to just wander around the corridors of TV Centre.
That is dangerous for someone who looks like you. That's a very dangerous...
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't bump into Jimmy Savile.
That's now all people... That's all people's flats now. That's all been turned into flats, right?
and it's Soho House and it's all a bit trendy.
Do you want to live in possibly where Jimmy Savile raped some kids?
Yeah, apparently one of the most expensive properties in London
Yeah, it will
is
be.
in TV Centre.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, wouldn't want to live there.
It mirrors the Grenfell Tower's the other side of the Westfield, and these posh flats, the BBC on the
Have
other
you
side.
been back?
Yeah, I was there. I used to live there, so it was. But it's the
What,
it's
in
the,
those posh flats?
No, I used to live in Shepherd's Bush, so
Oh,
I would be
okay.
up there all the time, and you'd notice once the fire had happened, you could see that was the. I'm not that I'm obsessed with this, but it just summed up London. They had this massive shopping centre, these ridiculously expensive flats, which were for sale. I just thought Savile's estate agent wouldn't touch them, but they did. They were. Yeah, I got this from Savile's. And then on the other side, it just sums up London. But that's why I don't live in London anymore.
Is that why you moved
That's
out?
why I moved. No, I was moving anyway, but it did make it a bit. It brought it
It's
home.
up
It brought it home.
society, I think.
Yeah, it is. But that's it's all that.
It's all that. Oh no! Don't get me started.
No.
I'll start ranting. And you
I
don't
like
want
it when you rant. You ranted on the Jeremy Vine show about
I know,
Brexit.
I did rant. I should have said nose instead of head, shouldn't I? And
Yeah.
then that would have been all right.
Yeah, you did. It was a Muslim saying, "What if everyone chopped off everyone's head
Yeah,
off?" That was
you're
a
as
bad.
bad as tabloid
that was a
journalists.
bad
You're just
moment.
misquoting everything now. But you agree with the sentiment, right?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see Piers Morgan taking the piss out?
Yeah, but I know. Oh gosh, we used to have to do. I know Piers because we used to have to do the eco campaigning for Eon, and we had to do all these photo shoots with like this giant polar bear and stuff. And he'd be in this green suit, and I had to wear a green dress. It was so naff. I can't believe I did that now. And we're always like sort of taking the piss out of each other.
Yeah.
And him and Charlie have a running joke of, well, no, it's not even a running joke, an ongoing hatred of each other. Yeah. There's no joke. And
I can't really imagine the two of them joshing around and being
No.
mates.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of fun taking the piss.
yeah, no. And have you seen Touch of Cloth ever?
Yes, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, someone's
Yeah,
seen it.
someone's seen it.
Good. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. But I don't know if it's on any streaming platform. But in that, he continually is taking the piss out of Piers Morgan.
Right, okay.
It's like a sort of spoof of a sort of crime thriller series. It's so good. It needs to be back on telly.
Yeah, get it back on.
Yeah, we need
What's
to-
he been up to? He hasn't done anything, has he, Charlie,
No,
recently?
but it's-
He should get back doing Touch of Cloth. That would be good.
It's really good though. You can do that and
He
Black
can't be
Mirror.
that busy. He can't be that busy. Well, let's quickly talk
Yeah.
about Charlie, because you
Okay.
met Charlie. Some people think it's an unlikely partnership, the two of you, the Blue Peter ex-presenter and the
Yeah.
sort of rudest man on TV. Now, I sort of wonder whether it started off. You did his screen wipe show where you did a thing about men weeing on the hillside.
Yeah, men. Well, because that was when Trini and Susanna and Got Kwan and all that kept doing these sort of empowerment things where everyone
Yeah.
would go naked on a hillside or, do these things like get a big bus with the slogan like, let's all get naked or whatever. And so then we did one about men with shy cock.
Yeah.
Paruresis. Have I said it right?
I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
impressed.
Paruresis.
I think shy cock did the job.
Which is when you can't piss in a urinal next
Yeah.
to another bloke. Does anyone have that here?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Well, there you go. And so we were trying to... well, you should have been on the show.
I should have, come
we
on.
could have cured you and empowered you. Anyway, but that's not when we actually met. We were sort of friends for ages
Right.
before getting
But it must have
together.
been like, I'll do the Blue. That must have been quite edgy. You'd come out Blue Peter, presumably by that stage, and you're doing a thing about men weeing
Well,
on a
because
hillside.
they often would ask, but Blue Peter never
Yeah.
let us do anything.
Yeah.
Because you have to be as clean as a whistle.
Yeah.
Apart from when you do coke, obviously. But that's why I didn't do anything on his show till I left.
So you did that. Then you thought, well, that hasn't been edgy enough, so I'll go out with him. And then
That was it.
that hasn't been enough, so I'm going to have to marry him now.
Yeah, yeah.
Then that didn't work. So you
Well,
have
then
to
we
have kids
got-
with him, and then
And then
now
what
you're stuck
now?
with him, aren't you? You're stuck with him just because you were
No,
trying
I
to.
just divorce him.
So I think he's much nicer than he appears on the telly, right? He's not as nuts.
Yeah, people are always like thinking he'll be really scary
Yeah.
because he's got that on-screen persona of sort of grumpy, scary bloke. But he's a real softie.
Yeah, and you are probably much nastier than you appear on
Yeah,
the TV.
I seem really nice, but I'm a total bitch. Like, this is just my public persona.
Yeah.
But so actually we meet in the middle
Yeah,
and
it's
it
good.
works
So it
really
works out
well.
perfectly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
And is it? But
We
is
are
it,
totally opposite. Actually, the other day I was looking at this family picture of us. We never have family photos, but I found this selfie from when the kids were young, and I realised he's got the biggest head in the world, and I've got the smallest head in the world. And I thought when we have kids, they'll have normal size heads. And actually, our 5-year-old's head is bigger than mine, and our 7-year-old has a tiny head.
Wow.
Sorry, this is just boring. This is fascinating
out.
stuff. But anyway,
well, he was saying when he was on very recently. He was here.
he was here last
It was
week.
like last week. I
'cause
can't work out the timing
He
of
was
it.
trying to work out
Yeah.
what day, and I was like, no, don't do it. We didn't want to be together.
No, I wouldn't.
Because
have
we
put you
hate each other.
on, I wouldn't have put you on together because who'd look after the kids?
Exactly, you've got it,
I'm
yeah.
thoughtful like that. I
Yeah,
understand
thank
that.
you.
But he said that he very fastidious about sell-by dates, and you're not fastidious about.
Oh my God. I mean, like, literally, sell-by dates
Yeah.
a real bug. I mean, I've got all...
This is the
I'm-
problem.
yeah, this is a big problem in our household.
Yeah.
No, but, like, literally, if you look on anything, like, you get, 500 millilitres of Greek yogurt, and it says eat within 2 days, you'd be having Greek yogurt for every fucking meal if you ate it within 2 days. Does anyone actually do that? Or do people just literally bin everything?
Yeah.
Is that what you all do? What do you do? What do you do anyway? Look,
Eat it.
she's
See,
with
it
me, aren't
splits
you?
me.
You're
My
with me.
wife bins the stuff and I eat the stuff. You can tell Charlie that I have got food poisoning this week, so that is. But that's from eating the food my wife has prepared for me. So that is, if it is
But
food
like
poisoning.
literally, if it smells off and it looks off, it's off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll
Usually.
eat things that are years. I find things in the freezer that have been there since 1976 and I'll eat it. And I never get ill. And he's ill the whole time. He's literally ill the whole time. I'm not even kidding. Was he ill when he was here last
No,
week?
he seemed okay. He seemed quite
Okay,
good
yeah,
spirits.
because so he could say that anecdote
Yeah.
and not have it come
He
back
was-
and hit him
I
in
said,
the
what
face.
should I ask her about? He said, don't ask her about sell-by dates, is what he said. So I said, oh, well, I
He's
definitely will ask her.
always,
about-
he's so paranoid about food poisoning
Yeah.
all the time. He's literally like, oh, did you touch that? Wash your hands before you touch it. Like,
Very
it drives me
sensible.
mad.
It's a very sensible man.
And then, whatever. Whatever. Should I tell you about the other arguments in our
Yeah,
house?
of course.
Well, he says that all couples do you guys have a thing about loading the dishwasher?
Well, I do.
So this is getting really boring, isn't it?
I do it. If anyone else touches it, I'm annoyed.
Really?
That's my job. I do the bins
hate
of the dishwasher.
loading it, and he'll always dictate how to load it.
Yeah, that's me.
But
So
he
I'm
never
like
does it
him in
himself.
that.
My friend, actually, her and her husband have this Barney the whole time. She actually taped him the other day ranting, and he's saying, "You have no spatial awareness." She just sent me this audio message. But there's households up and down the country that just fall out over the dishwasher.
Well, you've got to be very careful because if you put a big plate in the wrong place in our dishwasher, then it clogs up the spinning thing. And my wife does not. However many times I tell my wife, she doesn't understand that. So you have to put the big plates right at the edge, and then it can spin. But you still have to check.
Yeah, but
They're
then,
leaning against the
how
wall.
big are your big plates?
They're not that big, but it's quite a small dishwasher.
Oh, well, you see, you need
was
a bigger
only-
dishwasher because ours spins with the big plates in
Yeah.
there.
Well, that's how the other half lived, Connie. That's the black mirror. That's the old black mirror
I
money
don't
there.
mind once
I
in
just
a
do
while.
this podcast. That's why I've got a small. I've got a little.
No, but actually, right,
Yeah.
it is more eco-friendly
Yeah.
to fill a dishwasher up to the hilt than
Yeah,
to...
that's what I do.
Yeah, okay. But to do several loads on a small dishwasher isn't as eco-friendly. But
not that-
also,
it's not tiny small,
Wait,
but it's-
this is
it's
this
not tiny
dishwasher.
small, but
Edit all
it's-
this out, by the
No,
way.
I'm not gonna. This is
people
the best.
just
This
gonna
is fucking
Okay,
gold.
this is gold. Okay.
It's
and
just,
also,
uh,
I would rather scrape a bit of dried up spinach off
Yeah.
a plate than put 3 loads in to do the same amount of...
Why'd you have a dishwasher then? The massive
point
dishwasher. I'd say it's a 3/4 size dishwasher. It's just the space in the kitchen. We've got a lovely kitchen. It's just.
But you live in a
the
grade
space.
2 listed country
live in a grade 2
mansion,
listed-
so you could have had a bigger dishwasher.
I could have had a
You
whole
moved
room
out
with
of Shepherd's Bush to get more space,
I
and your
did.
dishwasher is tiny.
know it.
More fool you.
My dishwasher's smaller than my bath's smaller, and I'm furious. And once you've got those things,
Oh, Charlie's furious because he doesn't think our bath is wide enough. He's changed, everyone.
Yeah.
He's changed since them Channel 4 days. So it's all changed now.
I agree
Netflix,
with. I'm on his
Netflix.
side on that as well. We had a really nice bath in our old house, and you could both sit in it, and it was lovely.
And now,
And now it's just got a tiny. It's
like
good.
there's America have weird baths. So they're really low and shallow. Is it like a shallow?
It's
sort
like a
of
bath, but it's too small. It's like the dishwasher.
Okay.
I think I might have accidentally
Is the
moved into a
bathroom
model
small?
village.
How big is your... How many bedrooms have you got? in
Oh,
your house?
so many.
Knew it. I knew it. You live in a mansion, don't you? It's
I live
grade
in a
2
nice
listed.
house. I
I
live in a
this
nice
much I
house.
found out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice house.
That's his excuse for not getting solar panels. We were talking about being eco. He's got an electric car, but
Yeah.
he doesn't want the solar panels making
Hey,
his
come
house
on. What we talk
ugly.
about backstage stays backstage. Or do you want them to know what you said about Valerie Singleton? Which was nothing. I had... You were in Blue Peter when they dug up the Millennium, the time
stink-
capsules.
Oh, yeah, it's stinking.
Yeah.
It was
I had
rancid.
such a good time. I watched those. I mentioned it in a recent podcast. I watched those the other day, and I was
Literally-
laughing my head
I was
off.
literally retching. I had to do the nose block thing because it was so putrid and
Yeah.
stinking.
You were
Ugh.
like, there's John Noakes there. There, all the
got
stars
them
came
all
back,
back.
and they were all they were trying to make the best of it. Going, oh look, you can almost see
Yeah.
what that is. They were full to the brim. Every one of them full to the brim with water. Everything
Yeah,
waterlogged.
soaking. It was
I mean, were you
rotten
furious with the
rag.
people who put those time capsules?
I was
Because that's
furious.
the first thing about time capsule. It's got to be waterproof, right? That's
Yeah,
the point,
no.
isn't it?
They really stitched us up.
Otherwise, it's just a
It was
very
the
tiny
same people
underground
what
bath.
done the gardening, I reckon.
Yeah.
This got it was Magpie. The people of Magpie.
Could be the Magpie.
Yeah, that's what it was.
They hold a long grudge.
Everyone's too young to even know what I'm talking about. You
No,
know
they're not.
Magpie? No, yeah.
Look again.
It's so dark I can't see
again.
in there. Okay.
They're very old.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who's laughing now, Magpie or Blue Peter?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
done very well. Done very well, Blue Peter. What is it like when you get to meet all those the legendary Blue Peter presenters when they all because on those they do it every now and again. We have a 50-year.
Yeah, do you know what? It's really weird. It's like belonging to a weird family.
Right.
Because, like with your extended family, you don't choose them, but you sort of have an affection, well, sort of, or you hate them or whatever, I don't know. But you're always sort of back together at every Christmas or every, 50th or whatever. And there's always some anniversary or other where they wheel us ex-presenters out. Like, we've got a Blue Peter Christmas archive programme or something that they're filming, like, in the next couple of weeks and this and that. And so actually, the first time you meet them, you're a bit, oh, there's John Noakes and there's Valerie Singleton or whatever. And then now they're just like, sort of strange uncles and aunties, I guess. So, yeah.
They were that. Was it the Purvis, Noakes and Singleton? Were they your three or Judd?
My
Judd?
three were Simon Groom.
Oh, is it that far?
Peter Duncan.
Right.
And, how much older are you than me?
Well, a little bit, 8 years older than you, but they went for a long. It felt like they were in for a long time.
Not as long as me
No.
though.
Well, obviously Valerie Singleton wasn't. John Noakes must have done more.
Yeah, he did. He was the only one that did more than me. Was Charlie nice on this?
Yeah, he was lovely. Yeah, he was. He was very polite,
He's
unlike
done
his
this
wife.
a couple of times.
He has. He was on very early and just been back on again. It's lovely to see him again.
Oh,
He was very nice.
I'm very happy.
I hadn't
for
seen
you.
him for 7.5 years.
We saw you at Bing Live.
I
but
know.
then you
We
ran
talked
away.
about that.
Oh, did he talk about that?
Yeah, I didn't see you. You didn't come up and say hello. I was stuck with the bloke from JLS. He was nice.
yeah,
I was
was
on the House of Games with him or something, I think, wasn't I? So I knew him. What has my life become? What's going on? Did you enjoy the Bing Live show? Because
Kids
Charlie
loved
talked about
it.
Yeah. Did you enjoy
Although,
it?
did you get? We're selling those spinny neon.
That's what he was talking about as well.
Oh, did he talk? Oh no, we're so boring. We just
No,
talk
it's
about the
just-
same
that's
things. But one of their spinny neon things broke, and so you know what that's like. It was just awful. All hell broke loose, and the other one's was working, and it was the whole way home. It was just traumatic.
Never have two kids. That's my advice.
Oh, now you tell me.
Yeah, it's too late for me
Bit
as well.
late.
If I'd known before.
I could always kill one. Oh no.
It's gonna look really bad if you do kill one of them.
You know what though? This is why I don't like doing things. Like things in, like I said.
all right, it's okay. I think
because people don't get my humour, and that's why the Jeremy Vine thing happened. It's like because now things get taken out of context.
I mean,
and I
hard
can't.
to
I'm
take
not
that out
very
of
good at
context. It was clearly a joke.
No,
That's
you
not,
say that.
That's
so
not
is
how the Daily
Jeremy
Express are
Vine
going to see
thing.
it. There's
And
a
that's
fucking
not-
journalist on the front row. He's creaming his pants. He can't
But he
believe
never
it.
said
This could
he
be his
would
first
write-
job ever. I can sell a story, Mum. I'm going to get £25.
Did you work out what
He
have
wouldn't
you
tell
had
me. He
in
wouldn't
point?
say. So he writes on the Blue Peter fanzine, I think.
Oh no, he's trying to say you won't let him speak.
No, he
You're
won't
not.
say.
Okay, you're right. You're right. He's unemployed. Carry on.
What's wrong with you? I'm going to ask you some emergency questions.
Oh gosh, does that mean I'm doing badly? 'Cause
No,
you've
it
had
just-
to go
it means
to like,
we've
oh
done-
shit, she's
Look.
really bored. Oh.
We're 40 minutes in and you haven't had one. That means you're doing very well.
Oh, does it? Let's see if we can go the whole hog.
No,
without
it's too
asking
late.
if I suck my cock or whatever you're going to ask me now. Oh, here we go. Quick, I need to think of an anecdote. Do you know, right, I bumped into you, quick, Princess Anne at a thing, right? And because going
Was she
back to
sucking
the
her own
lies
cock?
in
Is that
te-
why?
no,
Is that
no, we're talking about lies in telly, remember?
Yeah.
And she went filming with Valerie Singleton. They did
Okay.
a special assignment around Africa. And she said to me, this was during the scandal of the lies in telly thing. She said to me, that's when I learned that TV was all lies. I went on safari with Blue Peter for 2 weeks, didn't see a bloody thing. Then I watched it on telly and there were some lion cubs being born. And so that was, and she did swear as well. Wow. So there we go. Have I staved off the emergency
No,
questions?
we're going to ask you a emergency question. You
That-
did great
that
backstage
didn't
with
work.
it. We want some more.
Oh.
What is the worst thing a cow has done to you? And that's probably the perfect question for a Blue Peter presenter
Do you
because it
mean-
must be something.
What is the worst thing? Do you mean like a cow, like a person that's a cow? Or
I mean, a cow. I mean, I was thinking you can interpret it
I haven't
however you
had
want.
many encounters with a cow.
Have you not?
Oh, actually, no, I've milked a cow before, but
Yeah?
it didn't do anything bad. But it didn't. Not much milk came out.
Okay.
That's not really bad, is it? Or is it? Maybe. Maybe she was keeping the milk in to spite me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the worst thing a cow's done to me.
Okay.
Not give me milk.
Fair enough.
What's the worst thing a cow's done to you? Oh, he can dish it out, but he can't take it back.
A horse once ate my map when I was on a school field trip.
Not a cow, though, is it?
Quite similar. It's
It's
similar.
an animal.
They're ungulates.
But so are we. What's the worst thing a person's done to you, Richard? Oh, really?
So many.
Go on, then.
The latest one is having his name on my dressing room door. But that's just
I know,
the
I
latest.
saw that, and I
That's
was
the
like,
latest
oh.
in a long list.
But the minute you come into this theatre, he's there.
I know.
And with a quote from the Times,
Yeah.
best stand-up ever. I mean, rub your face in it.
And that's awful, isn't it?
It's awful.
Imagine if there was a picture of John Noakes up there going, longest serving 3 feet in percent. We should have organised that. We can't be on. No, just we like to rub people's
Stuart
faces.
Lee's
in
still alive.
He is. Yeah, not for long. Probably by the time this goes out, I'm going to kill him and one of your children.
Which one? Do you want a tip
The
off?
one with the big head.
That's the younger one.
Good. That's the spare. Look, you'll have an answer to this. I've never asked anyone this question. What have you done to help the aged?
Well, do you know what?
What?
I visited my old school today.
Did you?
Yeah, because
Well,
they're
there we
doing a
go.
thing for their alumni magazine. And it reminded me, because opposite is St David's home, where I used to visit every week as part of my social services. And I used to spend an hour there every week. So I've done a lot to help the aged. Well, unless they hated me. I might have helped them to an early grave.
What
I
did
don't
you
know.
do? What
I
kind
mean,
of
I
things did you
think
do?
I was like, I'd sit with them and read with them and like, you know, they'd tell me stories about their lives. Fascinating elderly people. And sometimes we'd play like, what's that thing called with the croquet?
Croquet?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those were active.
I did a lot with the old folks.
How was
at
going back to
St
the school? Were
David's
any of
Home.
your same teachers there from the school?
No, because as we know, I'm really old
I know,
now.
but I
They've
went
all
back.
moved on.
They've all gone now. There was one, Mr. Tadger Target was there for a long... Mr. Target. We called him Tadger Target.
Not still there now, though,
He's
right?
not now, but he's only just retired.
Really?
He's related to a 10,000-year-old Skellington. I mean, we all are, but he got in the news for it.
Really? Why? How? What?
Because his DNA...
What did he do to it?
He was the local history teacher that we found in Cheddar Caves. They found Skellington, 10,000 years old, and they tested the DNA, and then they tested a class, in the history class, and he was related to the
Wow,
Skellington.
that's
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, oh, he's been
Great.
dining out on that one
Yeah.
for a few years. Good, interesting. Let's see. Do your... What?
What?
Oh, this... no, I won't ask that. That's for an interview. We're not doing an interview.
Oh, what? I'm intrigued. I won't answer it, but what was it?
I mean, it's rubbish.
Well, good.
Can't all be
Share
gold.
it. We'll be the
There's
judge of
1,001
that.
here. They can't all be gold.
You're just going to pick another
I
one now.
love
You
the-
must
I'm
remember
gonna try
it.
and find it for you. What it was? Do you see yourself as a pterodactyl or a lawnmower?
Okay. That is rubbish. Yeah.
Good for an interview, though, wouldn't it? Because you'd have to answer it. If that was someone asked you that in an interview, you'd have to go, "Oh, I'm very much a lawnmower. I get things done and have a little
it's
basket on
rubbish.
the front to catch the grass." Or I'm a pterodactyl. I fly around eating other dinosaurs with my sharp beak.
I'm extinct.
If you were God, what flavour would you have made ejaculate?
Chocolate.
Chocolate?
Has to be chocolate.
Yeah.
Chocolate is my weakness.
Is it?
I love chocolate.
Yeah. Could just buy some chocolate.
Yeah. But then that's like chocolate with bells and whistles.
Okay. Well, with a lot of effort.
True. Chocolate is worth the effort.
Yeah. Okay.
I love chocolate.
Do you?
Yeah, sorry. I said that already.
Yeah.
didn't
It's
I like ganache and truffles best.
Do you?
Yeah. Do you like chocolate?
I'd stopped eating it because I like it too much.
I tried, but I just
stopped sucking
can't.
men's cocks as well for the same reason. I've successfully stopped eating chocolate, but now I've replaced it basically with ice cream. I've done very well.
Do you really
with,
not eat chocolate?
with-
I don't
eat
believe
chocolate and I don't drink
Ever?
it. Not anymore. Not this year.
Are you
haven't
kidding?
haven't had any alcohol or chocolate this year.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't had any alcohol my whole life, apart from like 3 times or 4. But I think 3, actually.
How come?
Because I don't drink.
Well, drink a bit. Have a go.
Well, I did. That was the 3 or
Okay.
maybe 4
Okay.
times. I wasn't into it.
Yeah, you got to
Although
really...
people always think I'm drunk,
Yeah.
so I don't need it.
You don't need it.
Yeah.
You got to push through. I've been drinking a few non-alcoholic beers recently, just because you think,
What's the point?
Exactly, but they actually taste like beer tastes the first time you drink it. You know the
And
first.
are you pushing
the first,
through?
Well, no, I'll stop
See,
again.
I did
It's not
that.
worth it, yeah.
I didn't push through.
Yeah. If you push through with real beer, it's worth it.
Worth it for what?
Well, because you get drunk, you become more interesting.
I'm
sexually
so
attractive.
interesting. I don't need.
I'm talking for myself. Sexually
yeah.
attractive. Everyone thinks you're really funny.
So your poor wife this year.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to talk to you about the 2008 Summer Olympic torch debacle.
yeah.
That was exciting.
That debacle where I got
Yeah.
attacked.
You got attacked carrying the torch.
I
In
did.
2008, so you were carrying the torch to China.
Yeah, I was carrying
What
the
were you
whole
doing?
way there.
Oh, that was
No, it's the
exciting.
Olympic torch relay.
Yeah, what was it doing?
You only carry it a few meters. People were like, "Are you in training for that?" And
What
like
was-
people, and like literally, you go from there to
But
about
what
there.
was it doing in
So
the
it was good though because you look sporty.
Were
And
you
they
in the
give you the
UK?
Olympic tracksuit. What?
Were you in the UK?
Yeah.
What were you doing in the UK when it was 2008? Because it was 2012 in the UK.
Well, you said 2008.
Well,
I
it's
wasn't
2008.
even listening.
It says 2008.
Well, because
you're
they
taking it to
announced
China.
it, don't they? 4 years before.
So you were taking it from China to London.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Anyway, tell us what happened.
Well, there was, and I kind of agreed. China has a terrible human rights record, and someone was trying to make a point, so they tried to get the torch off me.
Yeah.
And then there were all these. It was really weird because it was all a bit like. So our leg of it, the relay thing, was in Notting Hill Gate, and there was like steel bands playing and crowds everywhere, and it felt a bit like the Notting Hill Carnival. But there was this sort of Chinese secret police people, and they were really like sort of eerie in that like this guy kept pushing my arm up because I wasn't holding it high enough. I was like, get off me, you know, and they were, no one knew who they were. So our police were like, who are they? The Olympic relay organisers were like, who are they? They just sort of go everywhere with the torch and are really scary. Anyway, and so then this guy tried to wrestle it off me. I hung on to it, by the way.
good.
Yeah. I kept hold of it. And then afterwards, I was on the Today programme the next day, and then they were like, oh, who were those people in the tracksuits? And I was like, I don't know. No one knew who they were. And then, like, Newsnight, then as I was coming out, they were like, oh, we want to do a thing on the relay. Will you do a piece or whatever? And then, because when you're in BBC TV Centre, they would just come and grab you. And then, like, Channel 4 News were like, we found the guy that attacked you. Do you want to come? And I thought, no, this is ridiculous. This is so stupid. It's almost like Jeremy Kyle or something. Anyway, so I said no. And then I went filming to Abu Dhabi the next day, and I put the telly on, and there was a thing about me being attacked with the Chinese secret police and everything. This weird thing just grew. And so it turned into this big thing, but really it was literally like, hold that bottle. It was like this, and that was that.
Wow.
But you know how the media and these journalists, they make something
How
out
come
of
the
nothing.
Chinese people who were trying to make you hold it up didn't manage to stop this guy grabbing it? That's not... They were just...
Yeah, I know. They were wimps.
Rubbish.
They were just giving it all that when they weren't needed. And then when they were needed, they were nowhere to be seen. But I hung on.
That's good.
So there we go.
I'm glad
Thank
to hear.
you.
Well done. Congratulations.
Can I just say, I think China are terrible
Okay.
for their human rights abuses. But I support the Olympic Games and not
Good.
China. Okay. Just putting
I
that
like
on
the
record.
Olympic torch. That's a good
Do you?
thing. Yeah, it's good,
Good.
isn't it? A bit of fire running around.
Bit of fire. Fire
If
is
it goes
important.
out, they just light it again as well with a...
Yeah.
With a
with a lighter. Yeah. Not like in them olden days,
No.
rubbing sticks and all that. Progress is good, isn't it? It's
good.
But it's bad too.
So, you've become an author. Are you
Yeah.
still doing... Because you haven't done any, like, presenting for a little while.
I'm just Well, I was just mumming, and then
Yeah.
suddenly now both the kids are in school, and I was like, oh no, I've got no excuses now. So I thought I'll write a book.
Yeah.
Because then, you know, in between 9 and 3, I can just do it on my own time,
Yeah.
and then get to drop off and pick up as well. You know, not have to have. You know, we were discussing this childcare thing earlier, weren't we?
Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it?
It's annoying. You
You have to
moved
look
to
after
near
them
your
once you've had them.
in-laws to be.
I've moved near to my
See,
in-laws.
we've got none of that.
Yeah.
My parents are no longer with us, so no babysitting there. Not that that's what.
I mean, it's the worst thing about it, right?
That's what I was trying to
it's
qualify.
just- yeah.
And Charlie's parents are a bit sort of past doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sort of hands-on mumming. But then you forget, or I didn't actually realise that, you know, after the book comes out, the publishers want you to go to like book festivals and do this and that doesn't fit in between the hours of 9 and 3, all of that stuff. But, you know, writing books and podcasts are quite good to do with parenting.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've both got it sus.
We have.
Way to us. Although I bet your wife does the majority of drop-off and pick-up, doesn't she?
Well...
Yes,
No,
that
I'm
well.
very good.
It wasn't a like, no. It was like, well...
we have a bit of help, but
Do you?
I
Have
would
you
say
got a
I
nanny?
do a little, not exactly a nanny, but we've got a
You
bit
don't
of
like
help.
to say that. It sounds too fancy.
But I do. I do.
You don't.
I do.
You don't.
I like it.
The way
I
your
love-
voice, the sort of tone of
I
your
could go
voice.
my
you're
electric
trying to
car,
convince,
I like it.
Are you trying to convince me or you?
I was just trying to step over the fact that someone else does the
Yeah,
school
looks,
most
brings
of the
your
time.
children up.
But I do half of all the other stuff.
What other stuff?
You know, the
Loading
bringing
the
up the child. It's not
dishwasher.
just driving around, is it? You've got to feed them, put them in bed, bathe them,
Okay, that's...
get
yeah.
up in the night. I'm very good
How
in the...
old are yours? You
4 and
getting
2.
up in the night. Oh, yeah, okay, 2.
So I'm quite... My wife's not as patient as I am, certainly in the morning. So I tend to get up in the morning at whatever time I've gone to bed and try and do the early bit.
Oh,
It's
good.
not entirely fair.
That's good.
Yeah.
I get up in the morning and
Yeah.
do all that. Charlie is like nocturnal, and so is our 7-year-old.
Right.
He flipping does not go to bed for love nor money. I mean, I can put him to bed as early can be, and he'll still be up at like 10 o'clock. Awful.
Is he playing video? Is the video game one? Does he like
You
video
know
games?
what? So obviously Charlie's really into gaming.
He is,
whereas
yeah.
all the other mums at the school are like, and ours only have half an hour of screen time. And literally ours only have half an hour off screen time. And he absolutely loves it. Because you know, like how some dads, you know, they bond through football or whatever. He bonds through gaming. It's the lost cause for me. So yeah, basically, our children don't sleep and they're always on screens.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, you've rumbled us.
Do they understand what you do? Do they understand what Charlie and you do? That your kids, are they?
Yeah, but I mean, nowadays, you know, everyone's got iPhones and they've all seen themselves in selfies and screens and stuff. So it's not that. I mean, so they watch Newsround every day at school. And I was on Newsround the other day. And so then like, that was the source of real excitement for my son's class. But yeah, they're nonchalant.
Do they watch Blue Peter?
Kofi's just got to Blue Peter age, so he dips in and out. But you see, the problem is they're really into like gaming.
Yeah.
It's terrible, and so
Watching a kid opening loads of boxes. That's what Charlie was talking
Oh,
about.
Ryan, was he telling you about Ryan? Do you know about Ryan? Yeah. Oh, look, everyone knows about Ryan. Ryan has his own toys in Target. He's like the highest paid YouTuber that exists, and he's this 7-year-old boy in America. And it's funny, if you look at early Ryan videos, they sort of lived in this small flat, and now literally their house is MTV Cribs with its own like, you know, TV studio and stuff. And there's Ryan toys everywhere, and yeah.
We should get our kids into that stuff.
But will they be happy?
No, I don't care. We'll get Not mad, does it? Well, oh my
Oh,
goodness.
look, you want to go home, you're looking at your watch.
No, I'm just working out what time it is, so I know
What
how long
time
I've
is
done.
it? I have no idea.
We've done 55 minutes of podcasting.
Oh, gosh,
Yeah.
time flies
It does. That's enough.
when you're...
We could just walk off now and we go,
Shall
that's
we?
it.
Should we just do it?
No, I've got loads of things to ask you
Oh.
about.
Maybe
Um,
they want to go home.
They can go.
Did
They're
you
welcome
ask
to
them?
go.
Oh.
They're welcome to leave at any point. I will ask you about... You were backstage at Glastonbury with Miley Cyrus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Is it?
Well, you know, if you're 14...
Covey, our 7-year-old, said it's the worst day of his life. He calls that the worst day of his life.
Yeah, I don't really
Glastonbury.
like Glastonbury. I can appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
But you're in the posh VIP bit, right? With
Yeah,
all the
there's
nice toilets
sofas
stuff.
and pot plants and
Yeah.
bowls of fruit and stuff like that.
So you're friends with Miley Cyrus now that she's been on Charlie's show, isn't it? And take
Friends. What was friends?
that. To take that, remember you from the interviews?
Take that. I mean, because then they got famous,
Yeah.
but then they came on, like, I don't know if they did back then make that connection, but I haven't seen them since their actually, I did a pub quiz with Jason Orange.
Well, there you go.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's
We
random.
all forgot about Jason Orange, don't worry.
That's random, but that was even years ago now. You see, when you get
Was
into your
Jason Orange the answer to
mid-40s
any of the questions on the pub quiz? Who was that guy? He was in Take That.
Yeah.
Was me.
Jason Orange.
Have you ever been an answer on Pointless?
I think.
Sarah Millican was just tweeting about being an answer on Pointless, and it was quite a hard question because it was whose was the curator of the Museum of Curiosity. That's quite hard, right, to remember who those are. And she wasn't Pointless. But I wonder how many people... I remember the first time I was on as an answer on Pointless, it was...
How many times have you been an answer
a couple
on
of
Pointless?
times.
I haven't made it in life.
But
I bet John Noakes has been
only
an
two,
answer on Pointless.
I think I got 2 people got me.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so that's, it's pretty good for Pointless. It's not very good for me, though, is it?
Yeah. No, not great, is it?
And so I kind of wondered how many,
I was an answer on Only Connect.
Oh, there you go. That's even better.
That's fancy.
I was mentioned on Only Connect.
Mentioned
Yeah.
in passing.
Yeah.
How so?
It was about my hair for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
What about
I
your
think
hair?
herring had been one of the answers on the wall, and someone had said someone was trying to
Oh,
connect.
yeah, okay. And was it the fish and not you?
Me. No, it was me. No, it was a fish.
Yeah, it was the fish. So you weren't really an answer.
I think like there must be. I was very upset when because that was early on in Pointless when my career was like I was wondering what's going on with my career, and I was very upset.
And what is going on with
No, I
them?
know it's not much, but I'm at peace with it now. But then I wasn't at peace with it, and I thought, there's probably a Black Mirror. I keep on coming up with Black Mirror ideas. I sent one to Charlie.
You know what? He's not allowed. Oh, I don't.
Don't say anything if you're not allowed to say it.
No. But I can tell you.
I'll tell you what.
He's not allowed to look at other ideas.
Okay.
Because he can't look at.
Oh yeah, no, I knew that. I sent him one last
week.
week. It wasn't really a serious one. It was out last week. We were talking. I don't know. Somehow I should do something about The Purge because I'm obsessed with. Have you ever seen The Purge, the film, or the?
Yeah.
It's just such a shit idea because it sort of implies that if we were all able to kill each other, we'd all go out and kill each other. And I just don't think we would. I don't. If that came up, I'd stay in, and so would everyone else. So they wouldn't want to be killed. But I thought it'd be a good idea to do a sex purge, a version of the sex purge, where 1 day a year. Don't know how this came up quite out of the conversation we had last week. And you can whatever relationship you're allowed to have sex with anyone you want, as long as they want to have sex. So it's not a rapey
As long as
sex.
it's consensual.
It's not
So
rapey
the whole
sex purge.
world,
Yeah, the whole world.
on
Anyone
one
for
day.
1 day, anyone can have sex with anyone
That
who
would
wants to
be
have
a
sex with them.
mental day.
But the film follows some people who want to cheat on their wives but can't find anyone who will go along with it, or a couple who can't get a babysitter. Who both really want to cheat. I thought that'd be quite a good one. But that'd be quite. No, I think there's like the humiliation of like being for being a celebrity and then seeing Pointless or whatever telling you no, you aren't. No one knows who you are, and your career's fallen apart. There's something in that, isn't there? That's
I can see that.
then going on a killing spree and killing everyone, killing mainly Richard Osman. But I just thought it was something. I was cool with it. Don't worry, I was all right.
You seem cool with it.
I was cool with it.
Yeah.
And I've been on Pointless 3 times since then. And have you done Pointless, haven't you?
I did Pointless and I did really well. So
Yeah.
I decided I'm not going to go back on it because
Okay.
I'll be really
Did you win?
shite.
Did you win the trophy?
I think we did win the trophy.
You think you did?
I can't remember. Do you know what? I don't remember anything since having kids, which is why
Yeah,
I
me
couldn't
neither.
really remember the other boat race that well. And you said all that detail. I was just like, yeah, I remember that.
yeah.
I literally don't remember things. And also,
Yeah, you
I
didn't
did
remember
this-
how to steer a boat while you were in the boat, did you?
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't remember anything, and literally we'll watch box sets. We all do it on streaming. And like one series, you watch it in like 2 days or whatever because you're binging everything. And then you watch like a million other series in between. And then, the next season comes out. And I've forgotten all the plot
Yeah,
points
me
from the
too.
first. It's just
It's
awful.
good. It means you can just watch the same programs over and over again.
Yeah. It's like I've watched whole films before that I've seen and then realised, hang on, I know what's going to happen next. And then I realise I've seen this film before. Isn't that just... Maybe I've
It's
got
just-
early onset dementia. My mum
think
had
it's just
dementia
literally-
and I've got a 1 in 3 chance because it's hereditary. And every time I can't remember something, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's happening. So maybe that's what's happening.
Good,
everyone. You're seeing it live
I was
before
going
your
to try.
eyes.
I was
My
going to try and wrap
demise.
up now, but that was to be an insensitive time to do, really, wasn't it?
Don't worry, it's fine.
Well, Mum had dementia, but let's not worry about that right now. I don't think we're going to get away with it. The audience aren't behind us. Hey, Connie, it's been lovely to see you again. I forgive you for steering
Thank
into
you.
me.
Oh, that's so kind of you. Is this why I'm on? Just so you
yeah,
could
I
do
thought
okay.
I thought it would be more of an issue for you.
But I just couldn't even
You can't even
remember it,
remember it
yeah.
happening. That's if there was a Pointless of the other boat race. No. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a massive round of applause, Konnie Huq! Thank you so much for coming. Come and see us in the spring. Bye. You can buy tickets now. I love you all. Goodbye. How'd you like them sky potatoes?